Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Why Music podcast, the podcast where we explore different musicians and their music throughout history. So today, I'm really honored to be bringing you the first ever guest on the Why Music podcast, the composer Jocelyn C Chambers. So Jocelyn, I know I could introduce you, but I think you can do a better job of introducing yourself, right? So can you please introduce yourself for everyone listening?
Yeah, my name is Jocelyn C Chambers. I am a film composer based in Los Angeles, California. Was born and raised in Austin, Texas, and I focus on writing a lot of music for documentaries. I'm still writing some concert music, but my goal is to do more high-end, like studio scripted films, more in the drama category.
Nice, thank you. So thinking about the word composer, what does that word mean to you?
So for me, it's very specific because I don't think people are used to hearing the term composer. Some people may associate it with classical music, which of course is very valid. And while I do some concert music still, I primarily do film. So that means that I write music for television and movies.
So when did you decide that you wanted to be a composer?
I think I was 13. It's one of those weird things that you don't know until you know. I had been playing the piano since I was maybe 7 years old. My granddad is the only other musician in the family. My sister takes lessons, but my granddad was like self-taught and he plays gospel and jazz and everything. And started taking piano lessons when I was 7, had really good like natural ear training. I would take pieces that existed like Star Wars and just pop songs that I heard, and I would try and figure it out on the piano and then rework it so it could sound like something that I made. And I think it honestly started with Star Wars, where I realized that the music was why I loved it so much. And I knew that I wanted to bring that to people in my life.
So what is it about Star Wars that really captivated you?
It was ever changing. I loved the variety of themes that John Williams used. It felt like The Planets by Gustav Holst. It was very extraterrestrial and ethereal, and it was also very classical in its nature. And it was also, I'm using a lot of big words, but it was very Wagnerian, you know? Like it had this very intense operatic feel. The emotions were all there, and I loved it so much.
So other than John Williams, which other composers are you inspired by?
Oh my goodness. Quite a few people. Let's see. I really love the work of Ludwig Göransson. He did Black Panther. He's done the music for, I believe, all of Ryan Coogler's films. Most recently, he did The Mandalorian and the Christopher Nolan movie Tenet. Like, his music to me is very different. When I watched Black Panther, first of all, I was through the roof because the representation of Black people on screen was amazing. But knowing that he's also the producer for Childish Gambino, like hearing the influence that he puts in his pop music as well as his film music was really interesting for me. I loved hearing the beats in Black Panther, and usually when I hear beats in like film or classical music, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, we've tried that. It's decent, but it's not actually very innovative. And he made that very innovative, and so I really appreciated that. Another composer who I loved, especially growing up, is Dustin O'Halloran. He collaborated with Drake DeRemus to do films called Like Crazy and another one called Breathe. And his music is very like piano based, very string based, very natural and acoustic. And I think that it comes from a very personal, emotional place. So I love that. And another composer who I have recently been put onto is Isabel Waller-Bridge. She is Phoebe Waller-Bridge's sister, and she did the score, the very minimal score for Fleabag, as well as the score for the new version of Emma, the Jane Austen book. And period drama is my favorite genre of all time. I was very skeptical about the new Emma at first, and then I actually watched it, and I thought it was one of the most delightful things I have ever seen. And I think that Waller-Bridge's writing for the music is very clever. It takes all of, classical theory and themes, and it really enhances it to carry that story. So, yeah, those are three people who I really look up to in the music world.
Thank you for sharing that. I really think that many people listening are going to go and check out some of the people that you've just talked about. So in terms of yourself, how do you see yourself in the music industry?
I see myself as a complete and total asset. I think that I have a lot to bring to the table that has not been really tapped into yet. And I also feel honored. I mean, everyone looks up to the movies, right? Like, it's the coolest thing there is. Everyone loves that Hollywood movie magic. And obviously, it's so much hard work that the movie magic it's one of those like few and far between things. But it's still really exciting to be in an industry where, this is so cheesy, but dreams actually come true. And I do not take my position in it as a Black woman lightly. First of all, I'm not the only person who's doing it. Like, we have women like Catherine Bostic, we have women like Tamar Khalid, we have Dara Taylor, like so many people who are out here who are making really, really wonderful moves for themselves and for everyone in their circles.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I also think it's a wonderful way for us to encourage people, especially young people of color, young Black women, like, hello, we are here. And yes, the people who are in the spotlight for our industry may not look like us right now, but we are coming and we will stay, and we want you to be on that stage with us. So it's a role that I want to bring people in, and it's a role that I want to continue, I guess, moving up in. But I think it's honestly one of the honors of my life that I get to do what I love and represent my community while doing it.
Yes, I think that is a very, very powerful answer. Just to go back to what you said just before about period dramas, you said you love period dramas. Which one is your favorite?
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. Right now, I would say Emma by Isabel Waller-Bridge. It's so delightful. And it is a movie that has specific themes. I would say that score has 3 themes in it that are recurring over the course of the film. But she does it in a creative way to where you recognize the theme in accordance to where the story is going, but it doesn't overpower what's happening on the screen. And I'm kind of a music theory nerd, and I would like to say that I can kind of tell when music is theoretically correct. And I think that Waller-Bridge worked very hard to make sure that all of the chords resolved the way they were supposed to, all of that stuff. I think her instrumentation and orchestration was very clever. And I watched that movie a lot. Like, if I'm ever having a bad day, like, oh, it's time to watch Emma again. I've seen it like 7 times since it has come out, and I am not ashamed. So I love that score.
Okay. I haven't seen the film, so I'm definitely going to have to watch it after this conversation. So just thinking about your career, what do you want to achieve in the future?
I want to be the first Black woman to win the Oscar for Best Original Score. I believe Herbie Hancock was, I think, the first and only Black person to win. He won for the film Round Midnight in, I want to say, like 1989. The first woman to win, I believe, was Rachel Portman in 1997. I was not even 1 year old. But there have not been any Black women who have won the award, and I would like to be the first. That'd be great. I think about my speech all the time. Let's see. I have multiple versions of it already written. I'm not playing around. Yeah.
I love how ambitious you are. I think it's really important to have big dreams and big goals personally. It's really, really important. So, for the young person who's thinking about becoming a composer in the future, what advice would you give them?
As far as musical advice, I would say write all the time. Do not be afraid for your music to be bad. Obviously, your standard of what good and bad music is up to you. It's very subjective, but write what comes from your heart and what comes from your mind. Regardless of how it sounds, it is a wonderful exercise. You will be better for it. Challenge yourself to write for different ensembles. So string quartet, woodwind quintet, wind band, full orchestra, all these different things. You don't need to go to an accredited university or get a master's degree or do all of these very intense classical things to be a film composer. If you look at people like Tom York, he does not read sheet music, and his music is absolutely beautiful. So you do not need to do what, everybody else did to become the person that you want to be. It's helpful and I recommend it, but do not feel like you are bound to the restrictions of a traditional education. As far as really getting into the industry, make all of the friendships that you can. Be intentional, be kind, act with integrity, because as far as Hollywood is concerned, everything that happens is based on relationships. Producers and executives and directors are more likely to hire somebody that they know, even if that person doesn't have music that's technically as good as the outsider. So don't be afraid to network, just say hi to people. Don't be afraid to email people and ask them if you can interview them about their job, how they got to where they are. People are very open to doing that, especially during COVID when everyone is home. So you have a lot of opportunities to connect, and I would encourage you to use them. And finally, I would encourage you to learn about how you can sustain your lifestyle by writing, both concert music and film music. I took a course at UCLA Extension called The Business of Film Music. I learned so much, but I learned how to open an LLC, which is where all of my music is housed under that business entity. I learned how to write off my expenses on my taxes, and I'm learning more and more every day how to move in the world as an independent contractor. So I do not receive a paycheck weekly in the way that W-2 employees do. This is probably very over the head for a lot of younger kids, but it's really important to understand because in America, we do not have a proper union for composers. And it has made things very difficult because there's not a set amount of money that composers need to make in order to live. That's put forward by a union. So that's largely up to you. And sometimes it can open the door for composers not to get the money that they need to pay their bills and, do all those things. So learn absolutely everything you can about that. Ask specific questions about that of your teachers, of the internet, because we do not want to be starving artists. We do want to be able to thrive and be able to be at peace with every area of our life as we are creating some of the most important art in the world.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your wisdom with us. I really believe that someone listening is going to be really inspired by everything that you said. So before you go, can you just tell people where they can find you, just in case they want to find out more about your music or just follow you on social media?
Yeah, my website is JocelynCChambers.com. My name is spelled Jocelyn, middle initial C, last name Chambers. And then my Twitter that I'm working on using more is called Jocelyn Composes. My Instagram is called Brown Eyed Joe, where I post selfies, not music. So find me if you'd like. Hit me up. I'm very friendly. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn, for coming on this podcast and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and your experiences as well. I really hope everyone listening has been inspired by everything that Jocelyn has had to say today. So until the next episode, have a listen to Jocelyn's music, follow her on social media, take care of yourselves, and peace.